is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another NU match. This one is against MJ from Twitter, and I threw together this team rather quickly. I kind of just wanted to use some stuff that was looking interesting, and it seemed to kind of have a little bit of synergy. But my opponent's side, he's got some really scary Pokemon, including the Mismagius. He's got the freaking Gastrodon, which is definitely a problem considering I don't have a grass type, and then he's got some other things like Scarf Primeape, which is definitely going to outspeed a lot of my team, so I got to work around that. And let's go ahead and just hop into the battle. So I wasn't too sure on what he was going to want to lead off with, so I decided to throw my Stunfisk out there, as he actually leads off with Vileplume, who's got like the ugliest shiny ever. But yeah, so I lead off with my Pancake, starting off with some breakfast, classic, and he actually goes for the Sleep Powder first turn and misses, which is really nice for me. I was expecting that, so I decided to actually just stay in, because I figured if there's anybody on my team who wants to go to sleep, I kind of thought Stunfisk wasn't too bad of an option. But this next turn, I expected him to just go for the Sleep Powder again, but he just goes for a Giga Drain, and it's not going to do a whole lot to me because I am specially defensive, so I can take that, and I get a nice little Earth Power to do a little bit of damage to this thing. So here I decide to switch into Dodrio. I know another Sleep Powder is most likely coming, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I got the early bird ability, I'm not going to stay asleep for long, and he goes for it, and he misses yet again, which is really unfortunate for him. It looks like his Vileplume did not wear his proper prescription glasses today, so he's going to go ahead and switch out of there, as he's fearing the incoming Brave Bird. He goes into the obvious choice, which was the defensive Weezing. So I just go for the knockoff, get rid of that black sludge, go ahead and tell him to knock it off, and no more sludge for you, buddy. So I don't want to get Will-O-Wisped or anything of that nature, so here I'm just going to switch back into Pancake. There's not really a whole lot that Weezing can do to me, but he actually goes for the Toxic Spikes, and honestly, I always forget that Weezing can use Toxic Spikes. It's actually a really cool option, and seeing as I don't have any poison Pokemon that touch the ground on my team, it's looking like I'm gonna have to deal with being badly poisoned this whole entire match. So he gets up his second layer of spikes, as this allows me to at least go for a discharge. It's obviously not going to kill it because I'm a damn Stunfisk, but it does do enough damage to be able to two-hit KO this thing. But he decides he wants to save the Weezing for later. He kind of lost that thing a little bit quickly. It could be useful later on for a physical wall, but here he's going to go into his Gastrodon. So the discharge is not going to affect that thing, and I don't know what to expect really from this guy, so I kind of see a Scald coming or something along the lines of that. So here I'm going to actually switch into my Prostitute, who does have the Dry Skin ability. So expecting the Scald, I was like, check this out, I'm going to get a free switch, be able to just absorb that water with my dry ass skin and be good to go. But he actually ends up, after I get poisoned here from that freaking spikes, he's actually going to go for a Curse. And Curse Gastrodon is actually pretty damn scary because these things are already defensively bulky as tits, and if they get some freaking curses up, its physical defense is going to be off the charts. But you don't see these things using physical attacks very often, so I don't know what he was working with there. But I go for the Lovely Kiss here. Prostitute just doing what she does best, putting bitches to sleep. And yeah, so that actually hit first try. It was kind of funny. He missed 2 Sleep Powders, but I hit my very first Lovely Kiss, which has worse accuracy, so I felt kind of bad, but you know, whatever. So I'm going to go for a Nasty Plot here, think some Nasty Thoughts, get that special attack boost up. I know that this Gastrodon is going to be a problem, as he actually wakes up first turn and went for a Recover, which was actually really good for me, because had he gone for an Earthquake or something, I would have been fucked. But I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam with the +2 special attack. It does a decent chunk, but he's actually just able to fire back with an Earthquake and end up killing me. So that early wake kind of screwed me over, but luckily he went for the Recover the first turn, I suppose. But Prostitute did do enough damage to this thing where it is manageable. So here I'm able to bring in High 3, looking for a little not a High 5, because he's only got 3 little nubs, but big ass nubs, I guess. But I go for the Fake Outs, slap him right in the face. It's gonna do a little bit of damage. I mean, with the physical defense boost, he's not gonna take very much, and honestly the Fake Out was kind of necessary because I needed to do enough to ensure that close combat was going to kill. Plus the thing hits pretty hard with Earthquake after that attack boost. So I go for the close combat, just smack that snail up a bit, and that is going to kill that thing, thankfully. So down goes the Gastrodon. That is a big wall out of the way. Plus I already got the Weezing down to a pretty critical range. So I'm stoked about that. Now he's going to bring in the freaking Ghost with the hat on, and here I was expecting to probably see some type of setup, but he actually just goes straight for the Dazzling Gleam. I know that my buddy High 3 is a freaking monster, and I'm actually able to live that and fire off a knockoff in return. He does have the berry that reduces damage from dark attacks, but he's just gonna die anyway because High 3 is too much of a beast. So seeing that thing die was really nice, but unfortunately Hariyama is going to go down with it, but honestly, I'm not too mad about that. I kind of, did what he needed to do, so that's fine by me. Now he's going to go into his Weezing. We had a double switch here where we both had an empty field to switch in. We actually both end up going into our Weezings. For some reason, I just felt like he was going to go into his, and I was like, it's a Weezing match you're looking for, then let's do it. We got 4 little coughings all over the place, but I just go for a Flamethrower after getting Will-O-Wisp. He actually outsped me, which is unfortunate. I think we just had a speed tie, but yeah, so Flamethrower is going to kill that thing, and that's pretty nice. I'm not really too mad about being burned. Obviously, I don't use physical attack, so it's a little bit of recurring damage every turn, but that's fine. So now he's going to go into the Liepard here, and he actually goes directly for the U-turn. I'm guessing he expected me to switch, and then he wanted to match up against me, but I just decided to stay in because I knew that thing probably didn't have anything that could one-hit KO me, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna attack this bad boy. So I go for the Sludge Bomb as he brings in his ugly-ass Nuptup, and it's going to do a decent chunk to this thing. They're not the most specially bulky. I do have Flamethrower as well, so this is honestly a good matchup for me. I'm feeling confident. This flower is not really scaring me all too much, so I'm getting hurt by my burn. Not too big of a deal, but here I'm just going to go for the Flamethrower. So I outspeed, huck some flames at this thing, and he actually lives it, and that allows him to get a Moonlight. So he's going to restore some health, and at this point, it's kind of an uphill battle if I decide to leave my Weezing in. He's just going to keep on freaking Moonlighting, bringing out the damn moon, getting some health. And I'm just going to stay here taking burn damage. Even though I have the Black Sludge, so it's not hurting too much, but it's still just kind of not ideal. So I've got to make some moves here. So I decided to switch into my Dodrio. It's pretty much the designated Vileplume killer on this team. But I was expecting probably another Moonlight, but he's going to go ahead and double switch. He switches out into his Liepard. So I don't want to take any really shenanigans from this asshole, like a Thunder Wave or really just any damage. I know that Dodrio can be really useful later. So I decided to switch here, and I'm going to go into Disco Balls as he actually does go for the Thunder Wave. So back right into Weezing, and now this matchup is looking good for me again. So if he decides to switch into the Vileplume yet again, he's going to take some damage. I actually just decided to go for the Will-O-Wisp here, as he's going to stay in and go for the knockoff. So he just decided to just go for the damage. It is going to get rid of my Black Sludge. It puts me in not too good of health, as I do get the burn though. So Will-O-Wisp doesn't miss. Will-O-Mist just not living up to the name. But the burn is putting me in the range where it's looking like he's going to be able to kill me with any other attack, but he actually just goes for the Encore. And that's fine by me. I like getting an Encore. People love me as I go for the Will-O-Wisp again. Obviously not going to work because he's already freaking burned. And I am left with 5 HP after my burn damage. So he's just going to go for one more knockoff. I guess he just didn't trust it to kill, and he didn't want to take an attack, which is why he went for the Encore. So relatively smart. And the Liepard's sitting out here looking pretty damn vulnerable. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna bring out the old 3-headed bird. We're not bipolar, we're tripolar, because there's fucking 3 of us. And a quick attack, Choice Banded is gonna be able to take out the freaking kitty. So for the revenge switch in, he's gonna go into his Primeape, and this is a problem because he's obviously Choice Scarfed if he's gonna bring it in against a Dodrio. So I don't want to take an attack. After running the damage calcs, it was looking like I had a pretty good chance to live a close combat from this thing, but there is a chance that I could die to it. So I didn't want to test it there, plus I was locked into, quick attack. So I'm forced to switch into my Pancake. He's just punching my freaking Pancake in the face. That's terrible. How are you going to do my man Flat Stanley like that? It's just, that hurts quite a bit, and it's looking like obviously one more is going to take me out, but there's not much I can really do about the situation here because I don't want to take a close combat with really anybody else. So down goes the Flatfish, and at this point he's lost some defenses, and I do have 2 forms of priority on this team. I have Basculin with the Aqua Jet, which I do go into here. I'm Choice Banded as well, but I felt like the Aqua Jet here was pretty obvious considering he does have a Vileplume left on his team. So I decided to make the decision just to go for the Crunch instead, as he does go into the Vileplume as I predict. Takes a little bit of Stealth Rock, which is nice, and I go for the Crunch, take a nice little bite out of your ugly ass flower, and it is going to be a 2-hit KO after the critical hit, which I don't think the crit mattered there considering I am Choice Banded, but honestly, I'm not sure. But I'm going to go for one more of those, and that is going to be a dead Vileplume. So at this point, all he has left is his Primeape, and I got to really figure out what I'm going to do here. So I'm locked into Crunch, which is the unfortunate part. I could either switch into Dodrio to take a close combat and see what happens and then save the Aqua Jet for later, but after damage calcs, it's not going to kill unless he has like a couple defense drops. So he goes for the close combat. I decide to stay in with my Basculin. I just decide to sack this thing off because I have faith in my buddy Dodrio. So down goes the Basculin. I was really wishing that I was Life Orb rather than Banded there. It would have helped me out. But here I bring in Dodrio. He does outspeed me with the Choice Scarf, and I'm able to live the close combat with 15 HP, which is absolutely clutch. and that allows me to go for a Brave Bird. So that is going to kill the Primeape, but also in the process I will kill myself to the recoil. So useless critical hit there, doesn't really matter, and the Primeape goes down, and then Tripolar is going to go down as well. So technically I get the win because his Pokemon died first, but I'd like to call that one a tie because that was pretty damn awesome. You don't see that a lot, coming down to 0-0, but that was a really fun match. Go ahead and smack that like button if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.